Hey there, Nopenguin here, and as of the last ban list, Tearlaments were absolutely murdered. And frankly, they have not recovered. But I thought, if Tearlament is just a shell of its former self now, what if I made it worse? Because today, we are doing a deck concept I've wanted to do for some time, but when Tears were at full power, I couldn't conceivably find a way to fit them in. Today, we are doing Penguin, Tearlaments, and here is the list. Yes, I am actually kind of happy that Tearlaments have been hit, because now I could finally fit in the Penguin cards. Now why Penguins? Why Penguins and Tearlaments? Well, simply put, the Tearlaments, specifically Kaleidoheart, need Aqua Monsters. That's it. That is the entire deck. There's not a lot of cards that do things with Aquas, so just let me have this. But all things considered, I actually quite like where the deck is. Due to the nature of Tearlaments in dumping your entire deck to the graveyard, I had to do a Penguin ratio that I really haven't done before. One that maximizes summonings of Great Emperor Penguin, and summoning back whatever we shuffle back with the Tearlaments. In theory, this will work just like a regular Tearlament deck, with a little bit of extra synchro support. Because with the advent of the Ishizu cards, the combination of doing something like a Medora with a Sovereignty on board is really, really good. But enough about that, let's get into the card by card, and we'll show you what the deck's all about. First we have Triple Gep. This is the only Penguin we are running at 3 because this will be able to grab 2 of any of the other Penguins to either go into Synchro plays, Xyz plays, or just bodies. And the only other Penguin I feel like we needed to have at more than one is the Polar Penguin because it is a low level tuner and really does help with our level 10 plays. Then want a piece of Squire, Nightmare, me, and Penguin Soldier. If any of these are dumped to the graveyard during the Tearlament combos, they can easily be shuffled back with those same combos. And I'm only playing 9 because any more and the deck starts to get kind of bricky. I mean, even as is, I'm almost feeling like dropping the Nightmare Penguin because there's only a handful of situations where you really want to have the Nightmare Penguin, but those situations are there, so I have decided to keep it in. Then we are playing 1 Vivis Starfrost. This is another really great level 10 synchro enabler as it is a level 6 synchro that you can special summon to your field by destroying a monster you control with a different type and attribute to this card. So with the exception of one card, the Diviner, every single card in the main deck can be destroyed and summon out Vivis Starfrost. Now the engine, we have 1 Kashtira Fenrir. This is our go-to search off of the Kashtira field spell, and we use it just to get a monster onto the field and search out our Tearlament Kashtira. If Tearlament Kashtira did not exist, I think Tearlaments would have completely fallen off the face of the earth, but this does a lot of good things for the deck. It allows you to get extra mills when sent to the graveyard, when summoned, and it summons itself out pretty easily by either banishing a Tearlament or Kashtira card from your hand or graveyard. So before, like I mentioned, if we have the Fenrir, we can use Fenrir, special summon it, get its effect off, hopefully banish something in the meanwhile, but then we could do something like Tribute Gep over it, it's in the graveyard, then we can special summon the Kashtira Tearlament with that Fenrir. This is an absolute 3 of, and because it's at level 7, this plus a Polar Penguin is a level 10, and it's a very consistent way to line that up. Continuing on, we have triple Tearlament Rhinoheart, and we have 1 piece of Shirin, Havnis, and Merly. Speaking of limited cards, we have 1 apiece of all the Ishizu cards. 1 Keldo, Agido, Mudora, and Kelback. Like I mentioned before, the Medora and Keldo that shuffle back into the deck by banishing themselves does combo very well with Sovereignty, and to help get these out of the deck, we also are playing double Diviner. Send one of them to the graveyard, most likely Agido, mill a bunch of cards, and just be on your way. But that also makes Diviner a level 6 tuner, which allows us even more access to our level 10s. And finally, triple King of the Swamp. Moving on to the spells, 1 copy of Scream. Being that this is a variant deck, I don't see the reason to play more than 1 of these. Onto the field spell, we have triple of the Tearlament field spell and 1 Kashtira field spell, and 1 Terraforming to get both of them. We're playing Monster Reborn. It is insanely good in this variant of the deck because if you just mill your Great Emperor Penguin and happen to have Reborn in hand, that is absolutely free to just snatch it from the graveyard and start your Penguin plays. 1 Foolish to get anything we need, and 1 Polymerization to search off of the King. Finally, Finally, in the traps, we are just playing one piece of Meta Noise and Salic. Onto the extra deck, we're playing the new card from Cyberstorm Access, Vicious Asteroid. Similar to ABC, you could just banish the materials from the graveyard, which in this case is Viva Star for us and Reinhardt. So if these two are in the graveyard, you can special summon this out, and this really helps push for game because it's a 3k beater, and on summon, you can destroy a monster your opponent controls and gain half the attack of that monster. One Guardian Chimera for the polymerization, and the Tearlaments targets. We are playing Grab Fusion, Clydoheart, Lulu, Garura, and Mud Dragon. Nothing really to say there, these are all very standard in Tearlaments decks, but we are also playing Barone, Sovereignty, Dragite, and Penguin Brave, which are all very standard in my Penguin decks. Then just a simple lineup of Appaloosa, Unicorn, Masquerain, and Sprint. There's not really much else to say about the deck right now. I'd rather show you. Let's get into the replays. Our first replay is up against Gold Pride, and if you want to learn how to see it, watch the video. But they're going to start with the Zeoman. Zeoman's going to go ahead and grab Foxy2. Foxy2 will bring back Shirakusai. Shirakusai will go ahead and special summon out Carp. Carp attributes itself for a Deer Note and a Wagon. Wagon will use its effect to grab the field spell back into the hand. Field spell will activate, then they're going to go into the level 8 Punk, which will allow us to add a Zeoman from the deck, and the Deer Note grabs it from the graveyard as well. And using the field spell, we're going to summon this Zeoman from the hand to go ahead and have 2 level 3s on the field. With those, we're going to go into the Chariot Carry. Carry will go ahead and grab the field spell, dumping a carry to the graveyard as well. Then we're going to use that to grab Leon. Leon will special summon itself, special summoning back that carry from the graveyard. Carry will then grab the trap card from deck to the hand. They are going to synchro summon into Star Leon and then Nitro into the field for absolutely free. They'll pass turn, and during the end phase we'll get a carry from the deck and draw a card. Now it's my turn, and I have a couple of field spells here, which isn't the greatest. They'll get the token on the field. I'll pair Lino for the Reinhardt, and they will unfortunately troll me, but I think I can make this work. So I'm going to shear it here, going ahead and send the Polar Penguin to the graveyard, and just get a bunch of mills because of the Chizu cards and the Kiromantash Tira. And I'll be able to get Lulu out, and I'll be able to pop the Leon with the field spell. Then we are going to go ahead and get into the graphic card. At this point, I'm going to Monster Reborn for the Polar Penguin just to force out the Nitro Head effect. And with that, I can now just normal summon myself, go into battle, and because they spent so many life points, attack for game. Our final replay is up against Pure Tearlaments. We'll see what the better version is. They'll go Reinhardt, go ahead and dump their Cell Tag, Tearlament Cash Tira, and special one from the hand, dumping the top 2 of their deck. They hit their Scream, Scream will go ahead and grab Meta Noise from there. They'll dump 3 more, Salic will go ahead and grab the Sheeran. Sheeran will go ahead and special summon itself, and we'll be able to dump a Reinhardt special summon to send the Meta Noise to add back the Cash Tira Tearlament. Redoer will activate its effect now. Don't know why they did that, but we're just going to continue from here. Redoer will go ahead and grab a monster. I'll Reinhardt my own. They will Cash Tearlaments. I will send my own Cash Tearlaments, and we will both send cards from the top of the deck. And unfortunately for my opponent, my sends are better. I'm going to use this, having this here to go ahead and come into Clydoheart just to shuffle a card. They will Redoer for, again, I don't see why, but reason. Viva Star for us will actually destroy my own Clydoheart, which will special summon itself back, and send the Salic to the graveyard, which will allow me to add my own Sheeran. They will draw here, but that really doesn't matter. Sheeran will special summon itself. I'll send a whole bunch, including the Gap from my hand, and I'll use Monster Reborn to bring back that Gap, and under Barone I am completely protected. Nopenguin and Polar Penguin will go ahead and remove one of the cards. We'll go into the Penguin Brave, which will bring back me as the Nopenguin and a Penguin Soldier from the deck, and we're going to go ahead and from the graveyard banish 2 to go into our Vicious. Vicious will pop his last remaining card and will negate the effects that we get in no shenanigans, and this is well over lethal. 14,000 goddamn damage. And that was the deck. I'm actually really glad I waited on this deck to make it, because I don't think I would be playing the Vicious Asteroid if I had made this sooner, and this card is just a lot of fun to drop on your opponent out of nowhere. But as you can see, this Tearlaments deck does have a bit of sauce to it, being able to bring back the Gep because of things like Monster Reborn, or just normal summoning it over something like a Cash Tira Fenrir, allows the deck to explode in a different way than regular Tearlaments decks. Of course, it's not all sunshines and rainbows. I alluded to it at the beginning of this video, but the deck does have a tendency to brick sometimes. Specifically if you find yourself with multiple penguins in hands that aren't exactly Gep or Squire. But I have done it. I have revived Tearlaments to a Tier 4 deck. Watch out, locals. Like if you like, subscribe if you want to see more. I am Nopenguin, Vsauce lore enthusiast, signing out.